Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And of course, you good old boys in Canada. You know we love you in Canada. But Big C, there's no one I love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave on the beautiful September the 14th. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys?
It's going wonderful down here. I went into this place where they had assassinated some chickens. And we had
It's called tryptophan, Big C. You're supposed to only eat anything with tryptophan on, I think it's called Thanksgiving and also Christmas. But hopefully you good old boys didn't eat too much to have a good time waiting for all the football games that are about to kick off this weekend. Big C, we know we have a lot of good things coming up. A lot of good things with football starting off on Thursday night. I'm not really feeling Thursday night because I think it's not safe for the players. But I do know it's a build-up for college football and a lot of good things that are good in the world of sports as well as baseball. Big C, I'm telling you, will the Indians ever lose another game in Major League Baseball? Big C, your thoughts? Yeah.
The Indians are hot. They're hotter than the chicken grease that they were
Yeah. Yeah.
But, the Indians are playing tremendous baseball, Charlton. The guy that they're pitching tonight hasn't lost in his last 4 starts and has an ERA at just over 2.
Wow.
So, this is a great game, a great series that's setting up. This is what baseball is all about, Charlton. When you look at the playoff hunt, you love to see competitive games. You love to see teams and players come out and give it their all night in and all out. So often to hearing about the teams that are out of the hunt and bringing up all the minor leaguers and, looking at prospects for next year's. But the only prospect that the Cleveland Indians are looking at, Charlton, is the World Series.
Yeah, obviously. They're playing baseball the way it should be played. I know there was so much talk on the Dodgers, but you think about it. We talk about the Super Bowl has that hangover jinx that they always talk about. The team that loses has a hard time making it back to the playoffs. I was starting to believe that when I saw how bad Atlanta played at Chicago, but I know the Falcons will most likely get back into the playoffs this year. But when you think about the Big C World Series last year, you looked at Chicago and you looked at Cleveland. And I look at the hangover that Chicago started the season with, and also you look at what Cleveland had a hard time kind of getting out of the starts. But now they're playing like they learned something from losing the World Series last year at Big C. Does that make any sense?
Well, Charlton, they know that competitive edge that you have to keep for the entire series.
Yeah.
They kind of gave up in that 7th game they were in, and they had written it home, Charlton, like, hey, this game is all over with. It reminded me of a lot the first championship game I ever played in, Charlton, where, we go in at the halftime, and the opposing coach tells the opposing team, congratulations on being champions and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they came out in the second half, couldn't score a point.
Yeah.
Because, word leaked to the other locker room. I don't know how all these mysterious leaks get out, whether it's in the media or the sports shop.
Yeah.
The opposing parties, as they say.
Yeah.
And, we took offense to that. We went out and played football the way football was supposed to be played. Just like the Indians. I really appreciate Terry Francona. He won a couple of World Series.
Oh, yeah.
With the Red Sox, and we felt that, that relationship had gone sort of strange. And, I think the Red Sox have, since regretted getting rid of Francona because look at what he's done with this Indian organization, Charlton.
Yeah. Yeah. Big C, I got to ask you a serious question. I know we talk a lot about politics and sports, and because it's real, okay? It's not canned. It's not something that's scripted. When they put up those signs, you talked about the chicken you ate, right? When they put those signs up in the country road, okay, but I gotta, okay, I understand. But when they say those signs that say Animal Crossing, how do they know animals can read, Big C? Or is that for the good old boys? I just thought about that, Big C. Your thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, out here in California, heading from Northern California, the Bay Area, up to Lake Tahoe, there's signs that say deer crossing or bear crossing. And I said, man, they really make these animals smart. They can read, they know where to cross, but I thought that's for the good old boys. I just wanted to make sure I was right about that. That's funny. I do want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. You can drive a car or you can drive a Cadillac. Big C, I'd be remiss if I did not just say, you know, I look at Fox and I look at all the networks. You know, the thing with Jamil Hill and Donald Trump, and we were just telling people when Fox was saying that she was being tough on the president, she didn't call him a birther. She didn't grab him by the crotch, okay, and say he can get away with it. She didn't say anything about, yeah, I'm okay with the alt-right, the good and bad on both sides. She didn't start that birther movement. She didn't say that John McCain was not a hero, okay? She didn't say any of those things that oftentimes POTUS is defended for. She said nothing bad about Putin and how they're under investigating, but Fox News was calling for her to be fired. Not Fox Sports, but Fox News. Do they understand how to Google the Central Park 5, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah.
That's what it is. It's always been that way. But when he has come out and made all these lies and allegations, you think about when he said that Trump, you know, that President Obama had Trump Tower.
Oh, yeah.
You know, why? You know, that he had tapped his phones.
Yeah.
And that's been proven by the FBI.
It's a lie.
Secret Service that did not happen.
Yeah.
You know, the Attorney General. It's been proven that it did not happen, as well as 90% of the other things that he has said.
Yeah.
Fox News says nothing negative about the president, even when they catch him in a bald-faced lie. So
Yeah.
they just say, oh, well, you know, it's just him. He's new to this. He's not new to lying, Jonathan. That's his modus operandi.
Yeah, I think.
He does that on a daily basis.
Well.
It's how he sets himself up.
Yeah.
He tells one lie to cover another lie, but, you know, for them to outright go after a female journalist, and if you listen to the people on Fox, Jonathan,
Yeah.
they're blatantly doing this every day.
Yeah.
With their negativity and falsehoods, their false reporting that they represent.
Yeah.
They don't talk about any of the issues that go on in America, Charlton. They talk about alternative things.
Yeah, and you know.
And that's not delivering the news to the people. The people who are the base of the president watch Fox News, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they know of none of the negativity goes on, whether it's the Russian investigation, whether it's the allegations that he makes against other people, whether he's bringing in these foreign leaders from other countries, Charlton,
Yep.
that are under investigation. You know, he spends so much time talking about Kim Jong-un is that he's trying to deflect from this Russia investigation.
Oh, yeah.
Where if there was nothing in Russia, why don't he have his sons and everybody else in his cabinet come out there and
Yeah.
this is all lies.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. I'm telling you.
But he has not denounced that in any kind of way. He's never denounced Vladimir Putin.
No.
But he denounces everyone else.
That's a good point. The same way they have those signs for animal crossings, they're deer crossing, so the deer know which way to cross. When you're under oath, obviously a lot of your facts change, and so that's why a lot of them good old boys fight that. But I do got to bring up this one more point, because I believe in keeping our society safe. When you look at Fox and how they came out against Jamil Hill, an African-American reporter who's also in the same business that they're in of telling the truth, right? And they got to realize that, well, they're the same business. That's a very good point. But they put these women reporters out there, these female reporters, and I wonder if they know that Bill O'Reilly was fired ultimately, but only after 17 sexual assault allegations by Fox News. So that same news station that wants to try to throw someone under the bus for saying anything bad about Trump, they also supported a guy who's been known as a sexual offender, and Bill O'Reilly, and gave him $25 million to leave after sexually assaulting women. How do they have any credibility, especially the women that are willing to stand up there and speak on their behalf? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, that's the reason why these women can denounce Jamil Hill, Charlton, because they lived in the lair of a sexual predator,
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly,
Yeah.
when he worked at Fox. And so a lot of them facilitated what he did.
Yeah.
And it was acceptable within their workplace because they wanted to keep their job, so they let him do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Even though he was eventually let go by the corporation, Charlton, after it got to a point where they could no longer hide his offenses.
They couldn't hide him.
But they, you know, Fox News, this is the reason why you never heard anything negative from Fox News about the president's misconduct because they advocated keeping a sexual predator employed, Joe.
And people can Google that too. So obviously, I just want to say for all of the women in the sports broadcast business, or even if you're in news, we know it's difficult out there in it's a really male-dominated environment, Big C. And for the women who are good like Jemele Hill, I'm glad that ESPN showed a little bit of stones and stood behind her. They could have gone a little bit farther and just asked anyone who said that she needs to offer an apology to Google the Central Park Five. Google the lawsuit that he had against African Americans in New York City. They could just Google that. Don't have her apologize. Have your audience Google. So again, I'm proud of her for standing up for herself.
Let me say one thing about ESPN. They overstepped the line in Jemele Hill because they should not have put out a statement saying these stances that she takes, Jonathan. Sports reporters are there to do a job.
Yeah.
That's the business that they're in. They're no different than any news anchor.
Yeah.
So her opinions, whether they're of the station or of hers, they're the opinion that came out during the broadcast.
Yeah.
You should not come out because that's basically backhanding your reporter
They did.
for making a statement that they made.
Yeah.
It's saying, well, these are not the views of the organization.
Yeah.
Well, they are because she's employed by them, Jonathan, so they somewhat are. You hire them to utilize their intelligence and
Yep.
thought.
I agree.
Things that they say are not always scripted. And by her saying what she said, you're telling a reporter that they're handcuffed and you can't speak the truth. You can't say anything that's heartfelt.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
I agree.
You can't do that. So ESPN, even though they have not reprimanded her, Jonathan, they did in a way by taking that stance of making a statement for her.
And that says to every woman that works for ESPN and the women that watch ESPN that you really don't matter when everybody knows what Trump has done. And when he tried to send the White House after one of their employees, they really tried not to defend her, but they knew they couldn't do anything because she was...
Let me do one other thing,
Yeah.
Jonathan, to cut you off here.
Yeah.
ESPN covers what night of football during the week? Is it Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a guy who sings the song, Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yep, he's insulted President Obama. Yep.
Yeah, he called President Obama Hitler.
Yeah.
Hank Williams Jr. He said President Obama was liking to Hitler, okay? ESPN brings this guy back on the broadcast when Donald Trump becomes president.
Yep.
What did Donald Trump advocate? The alt-right.
Yep. Yep.
And so ESPN felt it was appropriate to bring Hank Williams Jr. back onto the Monday Night Football broadcast, the largest football audience in America.
Yep.
When Donald Trump became president, after he said President Obama was just like Hitler.
Yeah.
So this one lets you know what ESPN's stance is. They want to reprimand Jemele Hill for saying these things about Donald Trump, but they want to hire Hank Williams Jr. for saying these things about President Trump,
And
President Obama.
yeah.
So you see where ESPN was apologizing because she brought light to Hank Williams Jr. as well as President Trump.
And you can Google that whether you work for ESPN or not, because the facts are the facts, and that's a very good point you bring up. She gets admonished for saying something that you can Google, but they bring on a guy that insulted and called, the Hitler statement about Obama, and that's wrong. But it's not wrong for ESPN. So either way, people show you who they are by their actions. I do want to say, Big C, that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. When you need athletics, you need insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with pro teams, collegiate teams, your high school teams, even your mom and pop soccer league teams, and they work with Big C Sports. When you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you. I love what I do with Big C Sports because your knowledge is so real. Just like those bear crossings, those animal crossings, it says, if you want knowledge, follow Big C Sports, okay? And that's a fact. So for all the broadcasters out there, yeah.
Until you can rub your feet into a clean bearskin rug, don't criticize.
I love hey, I'm from California. We only eat lettuce out here, lettuce and chicken, right? Yeah, but it's all natural fed. I wanted the point is, when you go to the grocery store and they say organically raised beef, what does that mean? That they don't eat, or that they feed them with a needle? How do they eat if they're organically raised? How does an animal know what the organic owl is, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Well, hopefully we got to keep a lot of people safe. Big C, just a few things coming up as we get into Thursday night football, which again, I know the NFL wants to keep players safe, so they're going to have Sunday night and Thursday night football. Big C, that's how they're going to keep them safe. But I want to get your thoughts. Deshaun Watson, obviously, won the national championship last year playing against Alabama, and now he's in a game tonight where they're playing against Cincinnati, which is kind of also under fire. Marvin Lewis, they've always had a team that could get to the playoffs, but not necessarily a team that could do a lot going. If they lose to a rookie quarterback tonight at home, I know Dalton's not playing that great either. They put the focus on Marvin Lewis for getting his team to the playoffs, but shouldn't they put the focus on Andy Dalton? Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, I always wondered, how do you criticize a coach for making the playoffs? That means he's not drafting in the top 10 every year.
Yep.
His team is drafting in the latter round, and they're also playing when the season is over.
Yeah.
He's done that 7 times in the 14 years that he's coached in Cincinnati. Unfortunately, he's had some major injuries going into the playoffs over those years, Charlton. He's taken chances on players that other teams have bypassed on, a la Al Davis, Charlton.
Yep.
Bill Belichick is what he's done, but you've made the playoffs 7 times in your coaching career.
Yeah.
That's 50% of the time your team is in the playoffs. Every year, Charlton, in the playoffs, there's half the teams that lose in the first round.
Yeah.
But you also got to think about it, Charlton. Over half the NFL doesn't make the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
You got to look at the number of teams that have not made the playoffs since Marvin Lewis has been the head coach in Cincinnati. Don't criticize Marvin Lewis for not winning a playoff game. Let's talk about the teams that have not made the playoffs since he's been the head coach.
Yeah.
That's what you really want to look at, and that's what the glaring problem is in the NFL, is that you want a land-based and African-American coach for winning. There's been white coaches that have gotten 3 and 4 jobs as head coaches since Marvin Lewis has been the head coach in Cincinnati and never made the playoffs during those runs, Charlton, but they keep getting a job.
Yeah.
He has stayed in the same place. He has brought stability to the organization. You have to look at the Cincinnati Bengals, Charlton, prior to his arrival.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't see this as a do-or-die game, even if they go 0-2 tonight, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is not a do-or-die game for Cincinnati. To die would be to fire Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Because where do you find a coach with a better pedigree to take his place? You can always hire a coach, Charlton.
Yeah.
But then you find a coach with a better pedigree. And then on the flip side, when you look at Houston, Dan O'Brien, he keeps looking for Tom Brady at quarterback.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is not Tom Brady. Tom Brady is not the golden boy anymore.
Yeah.
But Dan O'Brien, since he's been the head coach in Houston, Charlton, if Deshaun Watson starts tonight on his 24th birthday,
Happy birthday.
He will be the 9th quarterback to start since Dan O'Brien has been the head coach in Houston.
Yeah.
We've all talked about Houston, not Houston, but Cleveland with all these quarterbacks that have started since the Browns franchise has come back into existence. Since Dan O'Brien has been coach in Houston, no team has started more quarterbacks than he has. So when you talk about a team looking for consistency, I don't know if Houston has it even with Deshaun Watson, because Tom Savage got 30 minutes before he was yanked.
Yeah.
That's telling me that a coach is really not secure about what he's doing.
Yeah.
So don't talk about Marvin Lewis making the playoffs 7 times, Charlton.
Yeah.
Look at Dan O'Brien starting 9 different quarterbacks in his short tenure in Houston.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. I just want to get your thoughts on the emergence of quarterbacks. There were so many people. Who's that guy with the long hair? That slick talking dude looks like he's Mel Kiper. And
the guy that you go to the barbecue.
yeah, no, we don't go to no barbecue. He doesn't see those food crossing signs, but he did say that Deshaun Watson wasn't ready. I remember that explicitly. He's also an ESPN employee, but I remember, and he and Top McShaver saying, well, but Kiper, Deshaun Kaiser's not really NFL ready. He throws too many interceptions. He's not really a pocket passer, and we don't know if he can really read defenses as if he's not, cerebral enough to play. So what do they say now that the coach down in Houston is saying, we played these guys in practice, we've had them go up against the best talent around here that we had, and we think he's good enough to play, to start his second game. What does that say about Kiper and McShay and all those good old boys that really don't know anything other than guesswork, Big C? What does it say? And you can Google that too, that they said he wasn't ready. What does it say about them and their wrong prognosticating, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, this is the same thing they said about Zach
Prescott, yeah.
He was a reach.
Yeah.
He was a project, and black quarterbacks quarterbacks are projects.
Yeah.
They said Mitch Trubisky was ready when he lasted 30 minutes in his first game.
Yeah.
Before he was yanked.
Yeah.
And Mike Glennon came in and almost led Chicago to a victory over the Falcons because he couldn't get the ball to the receivers. You know, we see this year in and year out, Chelsea, where the African-American quarterbacks are lambasted.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they come in and they find success. Ncaa is starting in Cleveland, you know, just a couple plays away from knocking off the mighty Steelers.
Yeah.
We look at Deshaun Watson, who put the only touchdown on the board last week for Houston. Two African-American quarterbacks. We saw Zach Prescott continue to evolve in Dallas.
Amazing.
As well as the offensive line. Well, it's been a while since I've seen an offensive lineman pass for 200 or 300 yards and a couple touchdowns in a game, Charles.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. Okay?
That's true.
So you can say offensive line as much as you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the problem with New England? They have no offensive line. Tom Brady. So is it the offensive line or was it Tom Brady?
Isn't that something?
Last week with New England?
Yeah.
You know, was it Alex Smith or was it the offensive line in Kansas City? It all depends on the situation, Charlton. You don't want to give an African-American quarterback his kudos,
Yeah.
you know, his props. But the white quarterback, you want to give the props to him.
Yeah.
The African-American quarterback has everybody else around him. So anybody goes back and look and talk about the offensive line in Dallas and tell me, is it not the same offensive line that Tony Romo played behind?
Yeah.
I'm quite curious. They may have one different player.
Yeah.
But it's basically the same offensive line.
That's a very good point.
The offensive line that Alex Smith plays behind. Same offensive line as last year, okay?
Yeah.
Tom Brady, basically the same offensive line he had last year.
Yeah.
So when you see the fall off of one particular player, it's not him, it's everybody around him.
That's a very good point.
Playing great, it's just him.
Yeah.
Okay? We look at that. We saw that with Peyton Manning in Denver in the last year that he played.
Yep.
It wasn't Peyton Manning. It was the offensive line and everybody around him. You know, he couldn't push the ball more than 20 yards down the field.
You know.
The offensive line was keeping him on his feet.
Yeah.
So he just couldn't throw the ball.
That's true.
So this is how it's looked at with African-American quarterbacks. You know, Deshaun Watson is going to go into Houston if he starts tonight with a pretty, meek offensive line.
Yeah.
And if he has success, is it going to be because he's a tremendous athlete or is he a tremendous player?
What? Yeah.
I want to see the analogy of the reporters when they talk about him calling the game. Is he a tremendous quarterback or is he a tremendous athlete? And they never say that a white quarterback is a tremendous athlete. I never heard that about the kid in Philadelphia.
Wentz. Yeah, Carson Wentz.
That he was a tremendous athlete. I've never heard that about. I didn't hear it last week about Jared Goff.
No.
Getting his first victory as an NFL quarterback with the Rams. I never heard he was a tremendous athlete. He played a tremendous game at quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just like Carson Wentz, he played a tremendous game at quarterback. No one ever says that Kirk Cousins is a tremendous athlete. He just makes a tremendous amount of money.
Yep.
Winning football games.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Remember last year, Brock Osweiler, he was given $72 million, I think, to sign with the Houston Texans. And now he's back in Denver, where it's really high in the altitude. So sometimes people are really relaxed when they're making signings, Big C, up in Denver, John Elway, and them good old boys. But yeah, yeah. 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 Well, it's funny. I was watching the Colorado Rockies baseball game, and one of the announcers said, "Man, it's really smoky up here. You can see a lot of the smoke coming in from those fires that are out there on the West Coast." And I said, "Does he realize he's in Denver, Big Z? That's where all that smoke's coming from." That's funny. Let me ask you real quick, Andy Dalton. We talked about the decline of Tom Brady, at least in game one. I'm sure they'll turn it around in game 2 or 3. But remember, he missed his last 4 starts last year because he was suspended by Goodell. And we talked about Carson Palmer did not look all that well in their game against Detroit. They had a lead and they gave it up. And now Dalton also didn't look that great. You know, they say quarterbacks have a long shelf life, running backs have a short shelf life. But it seems like when you're the quarterbacks right now, who even knows if Andrew Luck's going to play this year because he had that laceration in his body and then some other issues going on there. I don't think they're being honest about everything. What's going on with Andy Dalton? How does he look so bad as a guy that's going to lead his team, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Andy Dalton, I don't know if his confidence is there 100%. Ever since they lost Mohamed Sanu, everybody's talked about A.J. Green, okay?
Yeah.
Mohamed Sanu was the engine that made that engine run in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
He's gone to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta made the Super Bowl with him in the lineup.
Yeah.
Because he took so much pressure off of Julio Jones.
Yeah.
And now A.J. Green doesn't have anybody taking the pressure off him.
Yeah.
So they become more of a running team now instead of that wide open offense, and people are able to stack the box against them, even though they had a running back rotation, which doesn't always work well. But, Andy Dalton has never been a quarterback that was going to set the world on fire, Chelsea. He's always been a good game manager,
Yeah.
even though as a white quarterback, you're not called a good game manager.
Right.
But that's all he's ever been, even when he was at TCU. He was never the dominant quarterback. He was a second-round draft pick. But who do you turn to, Chelsea? You got A.J. McCarron.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
He won a national championship at Alabama. Everybody won a national championship at Alabama. He's
Yeah.
a water boy, okay?
Yeah.
Really won national championship.
They give rings to everybody.
So who do you have as a backup quarterback? All you have is Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the NFL, Dalton. When you look around and they say, well, the starter's struggling. Okay, if the starter's struggling and the backup couldn't beat him out,
Yeah.
what do you have?
Yeah.
That's all you have is your starter, Dalton.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. So obviously, hopefully we'll see good football tonight. I know a lot of players get tired when they play on Sunday, got to turn it right around, and some teams have to travel, to play on their Thursday night. And again, they're still dealing with the issues down in Houston with all the flooding that happened and all the tragedy. So our thoughts are still for the people of Houston and the state of Texas. So we hope that you guys can get together and make things as well as possible. I want to touch on a little bit of college football before we close out, Big C. We talked about this great quarterback for Louisville. Obviously, he reminds me of Deshaun Watson. And ironically, I hear the same things about him. He's not really the NFL prototype. He doesn't really stay in the pocket. He likes to get outside and run too much. He may get injured. He reminds me of Marcus Mariota. He reminds me of Colin Kaepernick, who took the 49ers to the last Super Bowl. And he's playing up against a great defense in Clemson. Clemson's ranked number 3 going into this game. And Louisville's ranked number 14. They're both 2-0. I know Louisville doesn't have the panache that maybe a Clemson or a Florida State has in that conference. But your thoughts on Louisville, will they have the opportunity to knock off the Clemson Tigers? I mean, it's going to be a great game. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Charlton, all those broadcasters and everybody who made that negative statement against Jackson,
Yeah.
you should call the University of Auburn. Ask to talk to Jared Stidham.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was sacked 12 times standing in the pocket.
Yeah.
And ask him how cerebral he was.
Yeah.
How intelligent he was. How athletic and how much did he help his team by sitting there taking the butt whipping from the Clemson defense.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what you do when you talk about a quarterback like Jackson that
Yeah.
stay in the pocket. Maybe he has a little bit of intelligence, Charlton. I like to keep my jersey white.
Yeah.
Instead of green, and our colors are white and red instead of white and green.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to ask. But, Deshaun Jackson, Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, Charlton.
Yeah.
No one said anything negative about Sam Donald running for a touchdown last week.
No.
For UNC against Stanford. No one said, well, he's displaying his athleticism and he's not a pure pocket passer. He's
Yeah.
willing to run the football.
Yeah.
No one said that, Charlton. You want to see a pure pocket passer? Look at Falk up at Washington State. He's
Yeah.
going to sit there and take a beating and keep throwing the ball on you. Ask Boise State about that.
Yeah.
You know where he's going to be. But you also know he's going to hit you for 400 yards by sitting in the pocket.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's going to hit you for 6 touchdowns, Charlton. However he may get them.
Yeah.
3 by his arm, 3 by his legs, okay?
Yeah.
No defense wants to see that.
Yep.
That's why he's so hard to defend. You got the reporters sitting up speaking negative about him because they want someone else to win the Heisman Trophy.
And people can Google that.
Archie Griffin, has anybody ever repeated as a Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah.
And I don't think the Heisman voters or the Heisman Foundation want to see that again because an African American won it for the first time twice, okay?
Yeah.
They don't want to see 2 African Americans win it twice, Charlton. So they're going to do everything they can, and the reporters that are talking about it generally have a vote on the Heisman.
Yeah.
They're not looking to vote for Jackson, Charlton. They're looking to vote for Donald or somebody else.
You know what? It reminds me, and I'm a big USC fan because I love that program. I've been following it for so long, 30 years, Big C or more. And I look at the Rose Bowl that happened back in 2005, where for some reason Pete Carroll kept the Heisman Trophy guy on the sideline next to him when they needed 1 yard, and they gave it to a tired Lindell White. But I remember Vince Young and Matt Leinart going into that game. Matt Leinart obviously ended up winning the Heisman Trophy, and Reggie Bush won it. They both won it back to back, and there was Vince Young set records in the Rose Bowl against Michigan, a Big Ten champion, and against USC, a Pac-10 champion at that time. And Vince Young they always tried to find something to find at fault with him. He has a problem. This guy's averaging 400 yards a game versus USC and Michigan back-to-back, but there's just something we don't like about him. Even though he went 36-19 in the NFL, he can't find a job, and you have guys that haven't even averaged 400 yards in 2 or 3 games put together. But he did it against 2 dominant teams and won a national championship. I bring it up because of this. He reminds me of the kid at Louisville, Jackson. He reminds me of Watson last year at Clemson. There's a chance if they can play long enough in the league and get the same type of support that a lot of other players that are less talented get, I think we see a long thing. I've got to get you with this thought. USC plays Texas, kind of a replay of the 2005 national championship game. And again, Pete Carroll doesn't know what his best player looks like because he usually has him sitting next to him on the sideline when he needs him the most. But Darnold, can he make a statement against Texas the way Vince Young made a statement against USC back in the day? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, what's off in that game actually didn't exist, okay?
Yeah, okay, alternative facts.
Texas did not win the game because it was wiped out by
Yeah.
the NCAA, so we never saw that great
Yeah,
performance. Okay?
you're right. I didn't see it.
We have to discard the tape that ESPN had
Yeah.
on that contest.
Yeah.
We got to, get rid of Keith Jackson's broadcast.
Yeah.
It didn't work, Charlton.
Yeah.
So what we have tonight, this weekend going out, Charlton, is Sam Darnold having a heyday against Texas.
Yeah.
You thought Texas was, shocked by Maryland
Yeah.
in game 1.
Yeah.
You got this new coach, Charlton. I don't know if he has any pixie dust left after beating San Jose State, okay?
And the Spartans put up a battle.
He used all his pixie dust up.
Yeah.
Now he has to play a football team again, Charlton, in USC.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if Herman understands the velocity of this game, Charlton.
Yeah.
But this will be high talent that he saw. He saw some speed versus Maryland.
Yeah.
He's going to see speed every play versus USC.
Yeah, and
we're not talking about that stuff that the Congress is talking about now. They got to go out that we see in the white suburbs. That's what they're talking about.
No, I understand.
University of Texas now, Charlton,
Yeah.
has to hunker down and play a football game. Herman starts out 1-2 potentially for the University of Texas.
Yeah.
What are the Regents going to say? Are they going to say we need to give him time or he must go? He's going to get time. He's not going to get Charlie Strong well-based. Right?
No, they're going to give him time.
Charlie Strong players. We have to wait till he gets his own players. We're going to give him 4 years before we say anything negative. Now, in these 4 years while Herman is in Texas, he's going to be lucky to win 25 games. Trust me, Charles, keep a note of this.
Yeah.
He's going to be lucky to win 25 games in 4 years in Texas. Will anybody call for his head at that point?
I don't think they will, Big C. And the great thing I like about this game, at least on paper, they're 2 great universities. Texas has a great tradition, not only in the Southwest Conference, but now the Big 12. And we know when they had Mac Brown, they actually had a decent program, and they ran him out of town. They bring in Charlie Strong, and as he's building something great, they got rid of him to bring in a guy that's going to be 1-3 or 1-2 after this weekend. But they're going to try to make excuses for him. And I wish everyone the best. But I want to ask you about Helton for USC, because he was at the point of maybe not getting this job when the Trojans started bad. They were trying to work up that moonshine that Alabama gave them down in that kickoff classic. They thought it was Gatorade, but I think moonshine has no color to it, right, Big C? Is that the fact?
It's non-biased.
Yes.
That's the thing about moonshine. It's non-biased. So, it loves company. And, when Ogeron, was there at the interim head coach,
Yeah.
everyone, you had half the party for him, half the party for Helton.
Yeah.
No one liked Ogeron's voice. He wasn't sensitive enough to work in California.
Yeah.
So they shut him off. He ended up at LSU when he's become the head coach there.
Yeah.
Clay Helton had been in the program for some 17 years.
Yeah.
He'd been there. He was a protege of Pete Carroll.
Yep.
So he had that recruiting line that Pete Carroll had left. He was replaced. They skipped over him when they brought in the first popping coach,
Yeah, that's funny.
back to the drugs once again.
That.
When they brought him in, and USC had to get rid of him because, he was pulling a Jim Irsay.
Yeah.
Riding around with Oxycontin in the front seat of the car.
Well,
and alcohol.
you know that's.
They let him go.
You know that.
But now Clay Helton has this program stable once again.
Yeah.
It took him 2 years, but he has USC back with the foundation that was UCLA a decade ago.
Yeah.
USC a decade ago.
Yeah.
He's brought in the quarterbacks with the big arms, Charlton. We've seen the speed on the outside, Charlton, and wide receiver and running back. He has a great stable and rotation at both of those positions.
Yeah.
But the key to USC, and they've always had a longevity history of this, is linebackers.
Yeah.
And when you look at the linebackers on USC, people always talk about the secondary, but USC has always been played 70s when they had the Wild Bunch under, I'm trying to think of Coach McKay.
Yeah, Coach McKay.
They had the Wild Bunch back then when they beat up on Alabama. They had a great set of linebackers back in those days, Charlton, all over the years.
Yeah.
They've had linebackers that have represented USC in the NFL world. If you look at Brian Cushing playing for Houston this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
He was part of a great linebacking core.
Yeah.
You know, with USC. Jack Del Rio, the head coach of
the Raiders.
Was part of a great linebacking core there with USC.
Yeah.
So they've had a long history at that position, and that's what Clay Helton has been, was a linebacker coach and defensive coordinator at USC, and he's built up that part of the defense. It goes unknown, Charlton, but that's the true leader of the USC.
That's a very good point, Big C. They are loaded from, I guess, they even have guys on their second team that can play because they've done a good job recruiting. So it should be a great game down at the Coliseum. Over 90,000 to watch Texas versus USC, and I can't wait to see what happens because I think this is a great weekend for two Heisman Trophy quarterbacks and to go up against it. You got Louisville and USC. Which one will emerge as the front runner for the Heisman Trophy? Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He used to always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
College football game at Boise State and New Mexico.
Yeah.
Boise State needs a rebound from that game they had against Washington. A tremendous game where they scored over 40 points and still lost.
Yeah.
Houston, they're trying to decide tonight, do they have a quarterback? Is it going to be Tom Savage, which I still think he should get the start. But Deshaun Watson, how long can you keep him on the bench, Charlton?
That's a very good point, Big C. So for all the people still dealing with the flood, our thoughts are with you, our prayers are with you. And for everybody who wants to follow Real Talk every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. We always want to tell you, there's never, ever any reason for domestic violence. If you know any woman or even man going through that garbage, just call 911 because no one should have to deal with that garbage all on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.